Well, we have a situation. Shocks blown. These coilovers have been here since 2005 when I bought the vehicle. So I'd say it's 2025. Time to put something new. Show you what that is. First up, secure it with jacks. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the wheel, once I take it off, underneath the vehicle as well, as a secondary precaution and safety, just in case the jack do fail. It'll land on the wheel compared to it landing straight to its frame. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Take off the wheel. I've got the wheel pretty much taken off. Like I said, just go ahead and put it underneath. Don't really need to put it all the way inside, but as long as it'll catch it just enough, that way it doesn't slam in an event does that fail. But I doubt it will, but just a precaution. Next step, take off the forks 17 mil bolt right here. It'll also have a nut, so you're gonna need one to hold the nut, and then obviously take it off from this side. You're gonna go ahead and take off these brake line holders. I believe they're 12s, so you're gonna need to take both of them off. Now that you got the brake line brackets off, you're gonna need a 14 mil to take the fork bolt location right here in the back. That way to loosen the fork to release the coilover. The two top nuts that hold the coilover on top is number 14. So go ahead and take those off. And the coilover is pretty much released from its location. And you can just go ahead and pull it out. I've got the old Eibach Pro Street S. So these are kind of old school. Like I said, it's been here since 2005 and older since I bought in 2005. These coilovers have been here, so I don't know how long it's truly been there, but I try to get a hold of Eibach to see if these are rebuildable, because I'd love to buy new shocks itself and pretty much transfer everything over, but I'm not quite sure if they are rebuildable. But I'm going to give Eibach another email, just kind of let him know the situation, and hopefully I can get these things rebuilt, because it did quite well for that long. So pretty good setup right here. The passenger side is pretty much the same exact, so I'm not really going to show you that as well, but just make sure you put all the bolts and nuts in one spot, that way they don't get lost. So we're going to be moving on to the back ones. So go ahead and pop the trunk, take the covers off, and then release these number 14s. Then we're going to go ahead and jack up the back end and then start taking everything off as well. For the rear ones, it took me a while to get it off. I forgot that I have the Type R sway bar for the rear, so I ended up having to drop the control arm a little bit, or the LCA, to get it out. Kind of a pain a little bit, but it is what it is. I did need a little bit of clearance to get that thing out to begin with, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it on the other side. I ended up having to loosen the ABS lines as well, just to give me enough clearance. Just 210 mils, that way I can move it around like that. But ended up taking the, like I said, the sway bar off, sway bar end link, yeah, Type R. I finally got the last coilover out. I must say, if you do not have power tools, trust me, invest in these two, M18 and M12. It definitely makes life a lot easier than trying to do it by hand. But it's understandable if you don't have power tools. Basic tools just work just fine. It just takes a little bit longer. But yeah, if you invest in these and you intend on working on your car a lot, I would suggest, highly suggest, to get these two at least. This one's a high torque for removing anything that's very strongly put in there or very tight bolts. These ones are meant for kind of like suspension wise, like little bolts, 14s, 12, 10s, things like that. But hopefully UPS arrives a lot earlier. That way I can pop the new ones in. But for now, I'm kind of waiting on UPS. So I'm kind of stuck on that situation, since they do take a while to deliver everything to me. But other than that, we're going to be waiting for that and then pop the new ones in. What I have been waiting for all day finally arrived. This is gonna be for another customer's install, so I ain't gotta worry about that. But anyway, the new coilovers finally here. All right, time to check out the Yonaka set. Let's see. I'm gonna show you what it all comes with out of the gate. They did give me a shirt, I believe, and obviously the lanyard comes with it standard. So shout out to that. And I did have to get the spanner wrenches, which obviously you need that to make an adjustment. So let's go ahead and check everything out. First thing you'll see comes with the license plate trim deal. So I already have one, but shout out to them. Thank you for sending that as well. Spanner wrenches. And they did send a hat, which another thank you to them. Definitely going to be wearing that since it's almost summertime in here in Kansas. Also sent me a shirt that comes with it. And then the lanyard. So shout out to Yonaka for sending all that. They didn't have to, but I definitely appreciate them for doing that. So, but to get to it, here's the new set of coilovers. I'm going to go ahead and take them out of the bag, place them pretty much on the floor, all of them, and show you what the quality looks like. I did notice that they come with new locking nuts for the strut tower. So another cool thing that they pretty much come with the kit. That way I don't have to use the factory ones, which kind of looks old anyway, so it's kind of nice to have the new ones. So here's what I'm kind of trying out for the brake line bracket. Since this one did not come with any, I temporarily hold it with zip tie, at least 2 of them around it, just to kind of keep it in place, just like the stock one. My old one did have one, but I didn't have an adjustable height. Mine is like full body adjustable, so that's kind of probably why. One day I'm going to try to figure out and weld it on to the new one once I get my welder kind of running. But for now, it's going to be temporarily held by zip tie, so I can at least make an adjustment on height. So I temporarily pretty much dropped it just to see where the ride height is setting. For the back, I kind of like leave it like this. I'm sure it's going to settle just a little bit once it kind of gets used up. But the front, I definitely need to adjust maybe a little bit tad more to how it was. But the back, I think I'm going to leave it like that. So I did have a wood underneath. So far so good. I'm going to go ahead and leave it like this overnight, just to kind of get everything to settle down a little bit more, and then drive it around and make adjustments after that. So when you guys make an adjustment, do not adjust the actual coil part. Only make adjustment on the bottom ring. So basically all you're doing is adjusting the height, but not the spring load or the spring travel. So do not adjust the spring travel, but only adjust the spring height, or the coilover actual height, which is the bottom adjustment. So again, do not adjust the spring load adjustment. Leave that alone, but only adjust the bottom one, and that adjusts the height of the whole coilover. So I need to make an adjustment of about 1 inch more drop. So this is, like I said, this is what you need to adjust. You're gonna have to loosen the bottom locking ring, and then this is how I measured it. So 1 inch. See if I can get it to focus. About 1 inch right here. And now we're gonna have to turn the whole coilover part, the top rings, to go down all the way until this bottom ring meets the assembly itself, all the way down right here. So you want this ring to go all the way down here. So that'll be a full inch. So I pretty much have the 1 inch, or 1 inch mark, because that's how I wanted for it to sit, about that low. It did take quite a while spinning this thing, because you want to spin it from this one right here, since this one needs to go that way and this one needs to go that way. So this one Yeah, you definitely don't want to adjust it from here, but you want to adjust it using this, especially when you're going down. I'm making my final adjustment with the passenger side. The rear one, I'm pretty happy with it, so I'm going to leave that alone. It is already nighttime, so home stretch on this one. She's finally adjusted to my liking. I'm sure it's going to go down just a tad bit more once I start driving it, but here's the current stance now. I didn't want to go too low on the front and risk my oil pan from hitting the road, so that's how much what I had before. So I just kind of matched it with how my eye box are pretty much sitting. So overall, it did take a while adjusting that thing. My arm kind of hurts a little bit since I had to turn it so many times, but overall she is done, and that's pretty much it with the Yonaka coilover set. Alright, I apologize for the loudness of the exhaust. I'm gonna go ahead and take the Integra out for a drive to get the springs kind of worked out a little bit and everything to sit properly. I'm gonna come back and let you guys know how the ride is, but like I said before, I had blown coil, so anything at that point is better than what I used to have, so I'll report back once I'm done driving it around. I just want to let you guys know that the fronts definitely work great. It's on the stiffer side, but that's kind of what I needed for my front, being that the J series is a little bit maybe controversial heavier, but the fronts are 12 kg and the backs are 8. So far I do like the ride, not bouncing around, it's not slamming down the ground from all the shock and things like that. So far I do like these Yonaka, so they're not too bad.